tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dhammang saranang gacchami, Sanghang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. So friends, welcome to this Wednesday evening sutta study. And I've mentioned before I cannot hear anybody, but fortunately it seems that everybody can hear me now, so I guess that's the most important part. So this evening we are starting to look at the Anguttara Nikaya, the book of the 11s. So for the last several weeks, we've been looking at suttas in the Anguttara Nikaya, book of 10s. So we're now on the last chapter in Anguttara Nikaya, the book of the 11s. So this talk was between Venerable Ananda and the Buddha, and Venerable Ananda, asked the Buddha some questions about the purpose of our Dhamma practice, or the purpose of doing certain, types of meditation or observing, different aspects of the practice. What is the purpose, and what is sort of the how does each one lead to the other? So Ananda asked the Buddha, what is the purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior? Now, wholesome, virtuous behavior usually means by observing the 5 precepts for lay people. So for lay people, the wholesome, virtuous behavior is living by the 5 precepts and other aspects of the the Eightfold Path and so on, but especially of the 5 precepts. And the reply, the Buddha's reply to Ananda, the purpose and benefit of wholesome, virtuous behavior is non-regret. So one of the main purposes, apart from, of course, having to experience suffering that comes to us from, let's say, breaking the precepts, it's by observing the precepts, we don't have regret for having done things we shouldn't have done, or guilt, worry, remorse, and fear, basically. And people regretting, I shouldn't have done that, and so on. So it usually, and it's not only the 5 precepts, but it's like following the Eightfold Path precepts, in which there are 4 extra precepts of speech, which are malicious speech or rumor mongering and tale bearing onto others, about others. And then, of course, harsh speech and useless speech, but especially the malicious speech and the harsh speech too are part of, the right speech in the Eightfold Path. So that's also, even though those are not part of the 5 precepts, but they're still part of the training for lay people in the Eightfold Path. So the benefit of non-regret. And then Ananda asked the Buddha further, well, what is the purpose and benefit of non-regret? And the Buddha's reply, the purpose and benefit of non-regret is joy. Because the mind is happy when it's not fretting and worrying about getting caught doing something they shouldn't have done, or other types of worries connected with that. And, the mind is blameless and, hasn't hurt anybody else. So there's no guilt, worry, remorse, and fear about that. So the mind naturally gains a more joyful type of, vibration. And then Ananda asked, well, what is the purpose and benefit of joy? Of course, the Buddha is responding according to the Dhamma and the practice of Dhamma, not in ordinary type of parlance with just ordinary type of people necessarily. So the benefit of joy is rapture. And rapture is a more, it's connected with the state of concentration. And when you meditate, the mind, when you are free from the guilt, worry, remorse, and fear, and the mind is joyful, then when you sit to meditate, it's very easy to gain level of concentration. So the rapture arises, which is kind of just a very pleasant type of piti and sensations connected with the present moment, more relaxed and the present moment awareness. Then what is the purpose and benefit of the rapture? Well, that's for gaining tranquility. That means for attaining concentration, and probably like the first jhana, because that's the way the Buddha normally mentioned those things. And what is the purpose of tranquility? It's pleasure, or the piti. So piti is even a deeper level of joy. So a person might feel joy, but that's more of an emotional state, where the pleasure, piti, is a more of just a mental type of that comes from tranquility. And the purpose and benefit of the pleasure is concentration, is becoming concentrated. And then he asked, what is the purpose and benefit of concentration? And the Buddha's reply, the purpose and benefit of concentration is the knowledge and vision of things as they are, as they really are, not the way we think or wish they would be, but according to the actual reality. And that means, of course, seeing anicca, dukkha, and anatta, essentially. And then he says, what is the purpose and benefit of knowledge and vision of things as they really are? The purpose and benefit of knowledge and vision of things as they really are is disenchantment. So when we don't see things as they really are, we don't see them as impermanent, a source of suffering and of not self, then we still become enchanted with them, thinking they're permanent and thinking that, my happiness depends on them and so on. So part of seeing reality as it is understanding this, the entrapment of the sensual pleasures and so on. And thinking that one's life depends on sensual pleasures and that that's the only form of happiness, is just tantalizing one's senses. But when you gain concentration, you understand that the pleasure and the happiness that comes from being concentrated, being detached from the senses, is a much higher level of pleasure, and that you become disenchanted with being addicted to the mundane type of pleasures. So that disenchantment also with clinging to the aggregates and so on. And what is the purpose and benefit of disenchantment? Purpose and benefit of disenchantment is dispassion. So dispassion is a kind of a state of the consciousness that's become detached from clinging to the various, to any of the five aggregates. And what is the benefit of dispassion? For knowledge and vision of liberation, because the dispassion leads to the attainment of entering the stream or the other stages of liberation. So that dispassion is the forerunner of attaining the knowledge and vision of liberation. So the Buddha then kind of sums up and said the purpose and benefit of wholesome virtuous behavior is non-regret, and basically he just repeats it again. And then at the end it says, thus, Ananda, wholesome virtuous behavior progressively leads to the highest attainment. So if, now that so many people are practicing meditation, maybe some of you there, some of your relatives or other friends might say, you've been meditating a long time. Well, what is the purpose of meditation? Or, what is the purpose of your following these precepts? Not taking alcohol, or not doing some other type of things like that. And you can tell them, well, the purpose is non-regret. And then see if they ask you, well, what's the purpose of non-regret? And you can tell them the joy. So that's the way we should try to respond to people. Of course, the average person probably is not going to be able to understand that really directly anyway. Okay, now this the next sutta is the making a wish. The title of it is making a wish, or so the Buddha is saying, for a virtuous person who is, following the virtuous and wholesome behavior, you don't need to wish for non-regret in me. You don't have to make an effort that non-regret shouldn't arise in you, or you don't have to wish, I wish I would have non-regret. Because it is natural that non-regret arises in one who is virtuous, one whose behavior is virtuous. And so basically in the sutta, the Buddha is repeating many of the same things, but from this point of you don't have to wish for things to happen when you practice the things that cause them to happen. For one without regret, you don't have to think, let joy arise in me. It's natural that joy arises in one with the non-regret. For one who is joyful, no effort need be exerted. Let rapture arise in me. It is natural that rapture arises in one who is joyful. For one with a rapturous mind, no effort has to be exerted. Let my body become tranquil. It is natural that the body of one filled with rapture becomes tranquil. For one who is tranquil in body, one doesn't have to make an effort to feel pleasure. It is natural that one who is tranquil in body will feel pleasure. For one feeling pleasure, no effort need be exerted. Let me be concentrated. It is natural that the mind of one feeling pleasure is concentrated. That pleasure means the piti, that jhana factor of piti. It doesn't mean a kind of ordinary pleasure. A person that gets pleasure by tasting his favorite food or seeing some pleasurable, going down and seeing the cherry blossoms, right? So last week was the peak of the cherry blossom festival in Washington, D.C. So many people went down to, they got pleasure in seeing the cherry blossom festival. Okay, that may be a kind of pleasure, but it's not the kind of piti, the pleasure that comes internally from the mind, that is produced by seeing a pleasurable object. So, again, the Buddha uses these terms of joy and pleasure, but it refers to the joy and pleasure that comes from the mind that is peaceful and has become, concentrated and so on. For one who is concentrated, no effort has to be exerted. Let me see things as they really are. It's natural that one who is concentrated knows and sees things as they are, if it's right concentration. Again, in this world, the words mindfulness and concentration are used quite a lot, but the Buddha always prefaced, in the Eightfold Path, it's right mindfulness and right concentration that are based on the right view and the right thought. So, whenever you're discussing some of these things with the kind of ordinary people, you have to be aware that the concentration and mindfulness that comes from the teachings of the Dhamma isn't just an ordinary kind of mindfulness and concentration that, the average person on the street might, I'm concentrated, they may use those terms, but it's not the same. For one who knows and sees things as they really are, no effort has to be exerted. Let me be disenchanted. So it's because people don't see things as they really are that they become infatuated and enchanted with all those kinds of sensual pleasures, and they get some, again, ordinary type of pleasure or excitement from all the sensory things, but that is not the kind of pleasure and tranquility and joy that the Buddha is talking about here. For one who is disenchanted, no effort need be exerted. Let me become dispassionate. And one who is dispassionate, no effort has to be exerted. Let me realize the knowledge and vision of liberation. It is natural that one who is dispassionate realizes the knowledge and vision of liberation. Of course, that assumes that somebody is also practicing in a systematic way all of the teachings of the Dhamma, of the Buddha, in that gradual systematic development of mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. Because the knowledge and vision of liberation refers to those 4 stages of entering the stream, once returning, never returning, and the Arhat stage. So again, the Buddha kind of just repeats that. And then at the end, he says, thus, monks, one stage flows into the next stage. One stage fills up the next stage. For going from the near shore to the far shore. Again, that refers to practicing the Dhamma, but in the systematic way that you find explained in the Noble Eightfold Path, by developing all those stages. And even the Buddha said that right concentration depends on all the previous 7 steps of the Eightfold Path, depends on right view, right intention, right speech, and on all the rest, including right mindfulness, in order for one to call it right concentration, which means the attainment of the 4 jhanas. And then now the third of these suttas. Again, if you have any questions, because I cannot hear you, you can write them down on the chat, and when I get done with this next sutta, then I can read the chats and then try to answer the questions. So this next book from the Book of the 11s, the third sutta, called The Vital Conditions. And again, this is going through the same list of terms that we've been already looking at in the first 2 suttas. It's just different ways of emphasizing this step-by-step progress. For an immoral person, one deficient in virtuous behavior, non-regret doesn't have a cause. When there's no non-regret for one deficient in non-regret. That might sound, that sounds a little bit confusing. Anyway, if you have the book, you can go over and read it. So anyway, it's saying that the proximate cause for non-regret is following the morality. And so basically it's saying in just a different way, the same thing we've already been discussing. And joy is dependent on having the non-regret. And tranquility depends on one having the joy, and so on. And then there's a nice little simile. So again, these three verses are just talking about the same, those mental factors in different ways. So this little simile, suppose there is a tree that is deficient in branches and foliage. That means some tree that doesn't really grow any good branches or have foliage. And because of that, its shoots do not grow to fullness. Also, its bark, softwood, and heartwood do not grow to fullness. So too, for an immoral person, non-regret lacks its proximate cause. When there's no non-regret, and then he goes through the same things again, saying, and when there's no dispassion, the knowledge and vision of liberation lacks its proximate cause. Because again, everything has a cause, nothing arises without a certain causes and conditions. That's why a lot of people, they try to do certain things like meditate or, but they don't they don't know the vital conditions for gaining that. In other words, let's say within the Noble Eightfold Path, that the right view comes first because it's the proximate cause for right intention. And the right intention is the proximate cause for right speech, right action, right livelihood, and leading up to right concentration. And then he then says, in the same way, suppose there is a tree that has very nice branches and foliage. Then its shoots grow to fullness. Also its bark, softwood, and heartwood grow to fullness. So too for a person who practices virtuous behavior, follows the precepts and so on, follows the right speech, right action, right livelihood. One whose behavior is virtuous, non-regret arises, and all of the rest of it. So those are the what I wanted to go over. I know that many of you have already read, and we've gone over a lot of these things before, but it's just to re-emphasize that how everything in the Dhamma is, follows in a logical order. All the different things, if you read, like the Noble Eightfold Path, we've already mentioned that. And with the four foundations of mindfulness, and also the contemplation of the body is for, sets the conditions for directly observing one's feelings, and then the mental states, then the subtle dhammas, the five spiritual faculties, the seven factors of enlightenment. A lot of people, especially Westerners, they tend to want to jump to the end, and they hear about, concentration, sit down and concentrate the mind, but yet without, doing their homework. Without, cultivating the right conditions. And so, they get frustrated, or they don't progress as smoothly or quickly as they could. Okay, so let's see if any questions have come up in the chat. How do we overcome the regrets caused by unskillful actions done when young? There seems to be no way to forget unless it happens automatically. Is there any technique to overcome regretting the actions done long ago before being exposed to the Dhamma? Well, the fact that, yes, naturally, even myself, I've done all kinds of things, but now I don't regret them as such. Now, of course, if you did some really, really heavy actions like, kill somebody or, some really heavy type of stuff, then, that might be harder, not to regret. But you reflect on, okay, I did those things in the past when I was still ignorant. But now I've turned a new leaf and I'm not doing those same types of behaviors. So you can feel good to the fact that you changed your behavior and you're no longer practicing those kind of behaviors. Now we can't erase what we have done in the past. So you still may continue to, let's say you killed or stole something from somebody when you were younger, maybe that person or the friends of that person or family, they could still hold, bad feelings about you. But, and so again, one could regret it, but, that's the, that's the nature of it. But the more good Dhamma you do, you stop doing the negative actions, and the more you create good, then at least you can feel good about that. You can have non-regret about practicing the Dhamma, and you can still make progress in the practice of the Dhamma, even though we have done things long ago that we might have regretted. Now, the way I see it, I did a lot of things. I didn't do any super heavy bad things, but, taking drugs and just getting into mischief and doing, certain things. A lot of that helped me to come to the Dhamma, actually, And when I heard Dhamma, I reflected back about how many, lies I told or stealing things, and whatever. But I gave those things up, and and it helped me to understand the power of greed, hatred, and delusion. And so, in the fact that my life had changed, so that is, I don't have regret about it. So, if I hadn't done those things, I might not have even come to Dhamma. A lot of people, they do some negative things, and then finally they wake up and say, what the heck am I doing? And then they hear the Dhamma, and then they want to change themselves. So, that is, and if they are able to do that, then, that will help them, not regret having done those things, because, those things might have helped you to come to the Dhamma. And, if you did some really unwholesome things when you're younger, then of course, forgiving anybody that you might that hurt you and asking for their forgiveness, then that also can help to overcome that non-regret. But it's mainly the more wholesome things you do, practicing generosity, sila, and meditation, and those are things that can help to weaken that past regret you might have had. Okay, let's see. There's another. Was there another chat? I thought there was. I thought there was more than just one chat. Shobha, don't raise your hand because I can't hear anybody, so I can't hear what you are saying. You have to write something in the chat box. You may not have heard that announcement at the beginning, but I cannot hear anybody there. So you have to write any question down in the chat box for me to be able to see it. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any other questions there. Maybe, so we'll take a short little break and then come back to, maybe we can have a little bit longer yoga session before our meditation. Okay. Okay, so we'll come back, take a short few minutes break, and we'll come back. Okay, friends, we're going to start the yoga now. Let's see here. Oops. What's happened here? Oh. So I hope everybody can hear. Some adjustments. So start to stand straight. Relax the arms and hands at the sides. Just gently close the eyes. Just feel the feet pressing the floor. Start to feel the height and the weight of the body over the feet. Then begin some deep, slow breathing and try to take at least 3 seconds to slowly expand your abdomen, rib cage, and upper chest. When you expand the upper chest, hold the air in the lungs a few seconds, then slowly breathe out. Just take a few deep, slow breaths like that. Just bring the mind into the body. Just breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Again, as we usually do, we combine this deep, slow breathing with these different movements, doing the movement while breathing in, holding the position for a few seconds, returning to the starting point on the out breath, repeating each one 3 times. You can open the eyes and observe me as I lead you through that. So in the next in-breath, raise the arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back, bend back a little bit. On the out-breath, turn the palms down, touch the top of the head. Again, in-breath, palms up, straighten the arms, head back. Out breath, touch the head. Third time, try to hold that upward stretch longer. Bend back a little bit. Now release the fingers on the out breath, arms back to the sides. Close the eyes, relax. And feel the increased body sensation, especially in your hands and fingers. Feel the feet pressing the floor. Remember standing, standing. Grounding the awareness in the body. Just letting go of your thoughts. Just let the thoughts come and go in the back of the awareness. Keeping the feelings of the body in the front of the awareness. In the next in-breath, push up on the toes and raise the arms over the head in this way, facing the hands toward each other about 6 inches apart and stretch. Out breath, come back down, hands to the side, feet to the floor, heels to the floor. And again, in breath up, use the breath to help lift the body up. Stretch. Out. Once more, in. Out. Relax. Keep feeling the increased body sensation. Sensations where the clothing touching the skin in different places. Or the increased heartbeat, pulsation. Any little aches or pain. It's the first stage of mindfulness, getting grounded in the body, centered in the body. And the next in breath, going to do the knee bending. So in breath, lift up on the toes again and lift the arms up front for balance. On the out breath, bend the knees and lower down, balance on the balls of the feet. And down as far as you comfortably can. And a deep in breath to lift up. All the way up on the toes. Out breath. In. The out breath, lower the arms, relax. Feel the increased heartbeat. Then next we'll do the side bending using both arms at a time. So on the in-breath, raise both arms up and keep the fingers and the arms straight, close to the head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can. And keep the hands and arms parallel to each other. In-breath, lift up. And the other side, out breath. Feel the stretch in the side. In breath. Up. And again to the right. Out breath. In breath. Up. Again to the left. Out breath. In. Once more to each side. Out breath. In. Out. In. Now the out breath, lower the arms. Relax. Just keep feeling the body sensation. Present moment. Of the body, feet pressing the floor, arms and hands at the side, head balanced on top. Feel all the subtle sensations coming and going. Okay, now spread the feet apart, at least 3 feet. And place the hands together at the chest. The in-breath, hands over the head. Out breath, hands to the chest, and bend the knees. Lower the body down. And keep the back upright. Feet flat on the floor. Feel the stretch in the hips and knees. In breath all the way up. Hands over the head. Out breath. In. Out. In. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Just keep feeling the body. Don't give the mind time to wander into past or future thinking. Always just try to feel the outline of the body, however it's placed. Each foot spread apart. Hands at the sides, head on top. Clothing touching the skin. Remember standing, standing, standing. Okay, now hold the arms out at the sides. Try to keep the arms parallel to the floor. We're going to do the twisting from the right to left, left to right. With the breathing, we'll breathe in. And look at the right hand on the out breath, twist around to the right, keeping the eyes focused on the hand going back. On the in breath, come back to the front. Let the feet turn with the body and then go to the other side with the next out breath. In breath, front. Just continue that alternating direction. Out breath. In, out. Once more to each side. Lower the arms, relax. Feel the sensations in the shoulders. Or any other prominent body sensations. Mentally feel the outline of the body exactly as it is. Letting go of your thought. Get out of your head into the body. Starting point for any deeper mindfulness. And next, we're going to do alternate toe touching. If you haven't seen this before, you can watch me do it one time, but if you know what it is, you can go ahead and do this with me now. You're holding the arms out. On an out breath, you bring the left arm across and down and try to touch your right leg below the knee or even your foot if you can reach that far. Keep the other hand over your head. Turn the head to look up with your hand. And then carefully lift back up. Don't lose the balance. Bring that arm back out to the side. And then the other side, out breath, the right hand to the left leg or foot. Look up with the other hand over the head. In breath, come up. Just continue that alternating sides. Out breath. Left hand to the right leg or foot. In breath. Out breath, other side. In breath. And once more to each side. And try to hold it a little longer on each side. And come up, lower the arms, relax. Feel the increased sensations, heart beating, pulsations. Now, bring the legs, feet back together, keeping the feet a few inches apart. Then do the head turning. On the in-breath, turn the head to the right as far as you comfortably can. Try not to turn your shoulders. Turn your eyes to the right. Look at something behind you. On the out breath, turn the head 180 degrees back to the right, to the left. Look at something behind the left shoulder. And in breath back to the right. Concentrate into the neck vertebrae. Imagining and feeling them loosening out. Out breath left. Once more to each side. In breath to the right. Out breath left. In breath, let the head stop in the middle. Just feel the whole body. Feet pressing the floor, arms and hands at the sides, the head balanced on top. Clothing touching the skin in different places. All those life force vibrations. Okay, now we'll do the backward and forward bending. So turn the palms outward in front. And on an in breath, gradually open out the arms. As you bend backward, bring the arms out to the horizontal position on the side. Look up at the ceiling. And carefully lift up on the in-breath, keeping the arms out at the sides. And on the out-breath, lower the hands down toward the ground. If you can touch your toes to the ground, keeping the legs straight. Let the little bones in the lower spine stretch out. And begin standing up, turn the palms outward. Again, open the hands out on the in-breath to the side. Stand back. In-breath, lift up. Out-breath, hands down toward the floor. And standing up, palms outward, open up the arms. All right. Lift up, out breath. Try to hold that downward stretch a little longer. Keep the legs straight. Those little bones, the sacrum stretch out. And then standing up. In breath, bring the hands together at the chest. Out breath, hands back to the sides. Relax. Feel the whole body vibrating, pulsating. Okay, we're going to do one last exercise, everybody's favorite, the lion's roar, face stretch. So you bring a lot of blood up into the face and head. So bend the knees and brace the hands above the knees, like the quarterback position in American football. And then you're going to take a deep breath, hold the air in the lungs a couple seconds, and on the out breath, you open the mouth and let out the breath while making a sound in the throat. And stick your tongue out like you're going to the doctor's office. So you can look at your tonsils. And cross your eyes until you see double. And hold that face stretch. Squinching the face muscles in and out of it. We'll just do that one time. Breathe in. The out breath. Relax. And straighten back up. And down as you can. Do that three times. We'll just do it one time now. Just feel all those sensations in the face. And feel or imagine the whole head and the face and the whole body has been washed and bathed with healing life force. And just try to feel or imagine that life force vibration permeating, saturating, suffusing the whole body, mind, nervous system, joyful, tranquil, energy, rapture. Okay, so get ready for the meditation. Okay, friends. Now turn my video off. So we'll begin our meditation. Hope that whatever feelings of body sensations that you got, try to keep awareness of them. First of all, just try to keep the body straight, the back of the head, the spine in a straight line. Try to establish or feel the natural inward curve of the lower spine to help keep the body upright. And keep your chin lifted up level with the floor. Now bring the attention down, feel where the buttocks press the seat. Try to feel all that weight of the body just pressing the buttocks on the seat. Feel that pressure, like looking through a microscope or a magnifying glass. Focus your attention. Try to feel the right buttock and the left buttock. If you feel the blood pulsing, capillaries, the buttock. And just be aware of sitting. Body is sitting now. Now move your attention down the legs toward your knees, feeling where the clothing touches the skin of the upper legs. And moving around the knees and down into the lower legs, just feeling any sensation. It's like taking a video camera, moving the camera through the body, coming down to your heels. Just to pause and focus your attention on the heels. Feel the subtle pulsing sensation. And feeling the rest of the foot or feet. And down to the toes. Just try to feel your big toes. The other toes touching together. Where they touch the floor. You just remember sitting, sitting. Now moving the attention up to feel your hands and fingers. And feel your thumbs and other fingers where they touch together, where they touch your leg. Feel the subtle pulsations in the hands and fingers. Now feel the weight of the arms hanging from the shoulders. You feel where the clothing touches the skin of the shoulders and arms. Relax the shoulders. Feel the uprightness of the posture. Remember sitting, sitting, sitting. And let the awareness move up a bit to feel where the clothing touches the base of your neck. Just feeling the sensations on the neck. And feel inside the throat. Feel any sensations to swallow or cough. Any other sensation in the throat. Now moving the attention up to feel your lips touching together. Where the upper lip touches the lower lip. Feeling the sensation of dryness and moistness in the lip. And feel the tongue laying in the mouth, where the tongue touches any teeth, or where it touches the sides or roof of the mouth. And now feel the eyes resting in the socket and the eyelids stretched over the eyeballs. And just gazing on the eyeballs with the eye of awareness. Feel the subtle eye movement. You might notice some light or color, or pattern, or mental image. You're seeing with the eye of awareness. Your eyes aren't open yet. You can just feel those different sensations. It's the eye of awareness, of concentrated awareness. Kind of just imagine that you had a video camera running there behind the eyes. You kind of just feel sensations of the face, the skin stretched over the skull, Feel the forehead, the nose, cheeks, the lips, the chin. It's kind of just panning a video camera. So there's different parts of the face. It's learning how to control your own mind. Control what you want to look at, to feel. And then let the you hear a sound, it's just hearing. Just keep the attention focused in the body. Just try to open up to feel the rest of the body. The shoulders, the arms, the hands, buttocks and feet. And just open up that lens of the awareness, the wide angle. Try to feel the outline of the sitting body. Just try to hold that video camera steady. Outline of the sitting body. Then begin some deep, slow breathing to feel the expanding and contracting in the middle of that sitting body. Just cultivate this basic awareness as you take a few more deep breaths. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, sitting here and now. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. If you can, try to continue that deep, slow breathing longer as we count the breaths from 1 to 10. If you're tired of the deep breathing, you can go back to shorter breaths. But on the next incoming breath, expanding in breath, count to 1 silently in your mind. And with the contracting out breath, also count to 1. The next in breath, 2. 2. In breath, 3. Out breath, 3. In breath, 4. Out breath, 4. In breath, 5. Out breath 5. In breath 6. Out breath 6. In breath 7. Out breath 7. In breath 8. Out breath 8. In breath 9. Out breath 9. In breath 10. Out breath 10. Now discontinue the counting, discontinue any deep, slow breathing, controlling the breath. Just let the breathing return to its uncontrolled, short, irregular rhythm. But continue to feel it. Keep the attention focused in the same area. Feeling the subtler sensations of in-breathing and out-breathing. Start to feel where the clothing touches the skin of the stomach, rib cage, the chest, as it expands and contracts, producing sensation. That's how you know you're breathing. And just knowing when the breath is coming in and knowing when the breath is going out. Start to feel the 4 phases of each breath, expanding in breath and the brief pause, the contracting out breath and the brief pause. It's called the breath body. Just try to notice how each breath is different. Sometimes longer, sometimes shorter. Sometimes the pauses between the breaths are longer or shorter. The in breath is longer than the out breath. The out breath is longer than the in breath. Just be like a scientist sitting in the laboratory, conducting this experiment on the breathing to notice all of its nuances and sensations. Just make that breathing process the main focus of a concentrated awareness. But at the same time, being alert for any of the hindrances arising, especially when you start getting lost in thought. Recognize it as thinking, drowsy. Apply the appropriate antidotes. Keep coming back to the breathing. Just to be alert to feel when the last bit of air goes out of the lung. In the beginning of the next in-breath. You want to count the breaths again on your own. If it helps you to concentrate, you can do that. And even while feeling the breath, you might notice other sensations coming and going in and around through the breathing body, or aches or pain, body movement, prickling sensation. The first stage of concentration and mindfulness is becoming grounded, centered in the present moment of the body. And when you're centered in the present moment of the breathing body, naturally you will feel the different pleasant or painful sensations that are coming and going. And you can observe the sensations coming and going, be able to notice any perceptions and thoughts connected with those feelings. One who is concentrated sees things as they are, and sees the impermanence of the body, mental process, so the different sensations and thoughts, urges arising and vanishing one after another. He becomes disenchanted with clinging to any of those sensations and thoughts. because you cannot control them. Staying connected to sensations of the breathing, the natural connection to the present moment, sensations of the breathing and body, sitting and breathing, sitting and breathing. Everything else just arises and vanishes, comes and goes through the breathing body awareness. Even our thoughts just arise and change and pass away like clouds blowing through the sky. If the mind is well focused and relaxed, grounded in the present moment, and identify the five aggregates as they're coming and going. This is material vibration. This is pleasant or painful or neutral feeling. These are the perceptions, mental remembering. These are the various thoughts about them, or emotion. This is the ego consciousness, the thoughts of I, me, or mine. Breathing in, sitting. Breathing out, sitting. That ongoing, continuous, natural connection to the present moment. Thoughts come and go. Sensations come and go. Sleepiness comes and goes. Desires or aversions come and go. Confusion comes and goes. These are all just a continuous flow of impermanence and change of our body and mind. If we lose that connection to the present moment, the breathing body, the mind gets dragged away or dragged underneath the waves of conflicted thinking, past and future, greed, hatred, and delusion, worries, fears, anxiety. Just maintaining that natural connection to the breathing body. The awareness is able to float effortlessly from this moment to moment without getting caught or dragged away by any of those changing conditions. So what perceptions or thoughts arise based on that sound contact? Bring the mind back to the present moment. Sabbi sankhara anicchati. Sabbi sankhara dukkati. Sabbe Dhamma anattati yada panyaya pasati atane bindati dukhi Isamago visuddhiyam dukkhapatta ca nidukkha bhayapatta ca nibbaya sokapatta ca nisoka Hontu sabbi pipanino. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. They arise only to change and vanish. And all impermanent things, when tightly clung to with ignorance, bring stress and suffering. And all the conditioned dhammas, as well as the unconditioned deathless state, have no owner or controller. They are not self, not I, me, or mine. When one understands these three characteristics with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to purity, to freedom. And may the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. In this way, may all beings live with mindfulness and wisdom. And thus spoke the Buddha. Now let's spend the last few minutes sending out thought vibrations of kindness, best wishes to our own body and mind and to all other beings. Again, take some deep, slow breaths. After breathing in, hold the air in the lungs as long as you comfortably can. Feel that oxygenated blood being like metta going out to all the cells of the body, charging them up with awareness, and life force, and feeling the relaxing contractions of the out breath. Just take several deep, slow breaths like that, thinking like this to yourself. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. May I be free from excessive greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance. Free from the pains and sufferings brought about by such unskillful thoughts and actions. May I have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I be able to continue to deepen my understanding of the Dhamma and the practice of meditation to help free the mind from confusion and suffering. May I be well, peaceful and wise. In the same ways, just continue taking some deep, slow breaths, and as you're holding in the breath and on the out breath, just imagine radiating, sending out these same thought vibrations of friendliness, best wishes, all your family members back home, relatives, good friends, colleagues at work, neighbors that you see quite often, people in all the workplaces that you visit, all these people that are also suffering. As you're holding in the breath and letting out the breath, thinking, may all these beings be well, peaceful and wise, free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance. May they be well, peaceful, and wise. Just with each out breath, just imagine these waves of metta vibrations, thoughts, going further and further outward across the countryside, through the towns and cities, entering the bodies and minds of all the beings. Again, with each out breath, imagine these metta vibrations going out across the whole country, across the oceans, and eventually the whole earth, surrounding the whole earth, these vibrations of friendliness, kindness, best wishes. That may all living beings be able to hear the Dhamma and the practice meditation to help free their minds from confusion and suffering. May all beings be well, peaceful and wise. May all beings be able to live peacefully and harmoniously together. Okay, now we invite you to chant the word sadhu 3 times slowly to end the meditation. Just take a deep breath and out breath, chanting that sadhu slowly. Just feeling the vibrations in your body and mind. Sadhu. And place the hands at the edge of the knees and take one more deep, slow breath. While breathing in, stretch your head back, pull against the knees to arch your lower spine. And lift the head up on an in breath, and on the out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebra. Lift up the chin level to the floor on an in-breath. Relax on the out-breath, putting a smile on your face. Okay, friends, so I hope you had a peaceful meditation or insightful meditation, and I think there's maybe one or two.
Thank you, Bhante.
I don't know if there's any questions on the chat. Oh, I guess not. Okay. Anyway, friends, so thank you for joining in this evening, and remember, mindfulness a day keeps dukkha away, sutta a day keeps delusion away, and Namo Buddhaya, it means remembering that literally just beneath our nose is the eternal present moment, always waiting for us, inviting us to come back home, to touch base with the bodies. It's practicing the M&Ms throughout the day when you can. Hope supplement your other longer meditations. So sorry about the sound situation. You weren't not able to hear anything that you wanted to maybe say, but hopefully next week we'll maybe back to normal.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bhante.
So I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Bhante. Nirvan Saranai, Bhante. The voice is sound. Yeah, sadhu.